Okay, what do you think of when you see it?
Honestly, I think of the glacier having its period.
Okay. Yeah.
The research team freezes in terror as they realize the crimson liquid pouring from the Antarctic glacier isn't water. It's something that looks exactly like fresh blood flowing across the ice. We're diving into 15 discoveries that have shocked the scientific community to its core. These aren't minor anomalies or interesting curiosities. They're findings so revolutionary that they're forcing entire fields of study to reconsider their most basic assumptions about reality. By the end of this exploration, you'll learn about ancient maps that show impossible geographical accuracy, discover how life thrives in environments that should be completely sterile, and understand why these findings suggest our planet holds secrets that could change everything we believe about history and science. Number 15. The Vampire Werewolf Discovery. But first, imagine digging in your own backyard and finding something so terrifying that entire villages believe you've unleashed an ancient curse. In the fields of Novo, Macedonia, farmer Trachea Dragunov discovered a wooden chest wrapped in rusted chains and securely locked. Inside was a skull, unlike anything seen before. It had the fierce appearance of a wolf, but an unnaturally large, bulging cranium typical only of primates and humans. The Macedonian government claimed it was simply a diseased wolf skull, but the disease they referenced is almost exclusively found in humans. Local folklore speaks of werewolves as cursed souls of those who committed grave sins, doomed to wander forever. Legend states werewolves can only be destroyed on Saturdays, when they return to their graves, and the only way to prevent resurrections is severing the head and burning the body. The fact that only a head was found in the chained box suggests someone performed an ancient sealing ritual. Villagers now fear Dragunov accidentally broke that seal, potentially awakening something that should have remained buried. The most chilling detail? The rare bone disease affecting this skull develops over years of stress and malnutrition, conditions that would require the creature to have lived as both human and beast for an extended period. Number 14. The Impossible Living Fossils. Speaking of impossible discoveries, what would you do if you found creatures that science declared extinct over 50 years ago living inside an ancient tomb? During China's 2009 Cultural Heritage Survey, archaeologists reopened the 500-year-old tomb of Chan Master Yanzhu Guang in Sichuan. The tomb appeared completely empty except for a simple stone tablet, making it seem like a disappointing excavation. Then something moved in the shadows. Two glowing green eyes appeared, and suddenly, two creatures bolted from the tomb so quickly that researchers barely had time to react. Fortunately, a few team members managed to photograph the animals before they vanished into the forest. Expert analysis revealed these were raccoon dogs, a wild species native to the region that had been declared extinct since the 1950s. For over half a century, there had been 0 confirmed sightings. The forestry department had no records of their existence in modern times. The real mystery isn't just that they survived, it's how they lived inside a seal tomb for decades. The tomb had been closed since the Ming Dynasty, yet somehow these creatures not only survived, but thrived in complete darkness, raising questions about what other extinct species might be hiding in forgotten places around the world. Number 13. The Blood Falls Phenomenon. Now, imagine a glacier that bleeds real blood, flowing red across pristine white ice in one of Earth's most desolate places.
We are in the dry valleys, one of the most unusual spots in Antarctica, because it's part of the 1% of the continent that isn't covered by ice.
In Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys, the Taylor Glacier produces what appears to be a crimson waterfall flowing from its frozen depths.
It's like this really visceral feature just jumps out at you, blood falls.
It's an outlier, and so we learn from those extremes, right? It's different than anything else we know.
Discovered in 1911 by Australian geologist Griffith Taylor, this phenomenon was initially unexplained and terrifying to witness. Scientists eventually discovered the source, a subglacial lake that had been isolated beneath the glacier for millions of years. The water is saturated with salt and iron, creating a unique chemical reaction. When this iron-rich water contacts air, it oxidizes and turns rust red, creating the blood-like appearance. The high salt content keeps the lake from freezing, allowing the fluid to seep through microscopic glacier fissures. But the real discovery was what lived in this extreme environment.
So there's actually stuff living in the dirt.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
in the
there's-
dirt and
yeah.
in the lakes, in the lake ice, in the rocks.
There's actually worms in the dirt.
glaciers.
There's microscopic worms, nematodes.
What?
Researchers found a thriving microbial community in the hypersaline. Iron-rich water, life forms that have been completely isolated from the outside world for millions of years. These microbes have evolved unique survival mechanisms that could hold the key to understanding how life might exist on other planets with similar extreme conditions. Number 12. The Antarctic Time Capsule. But perhaps the most shocking discovery challenges our understanding of ancient civilizations and their impossible knowledge of our planet.
We're talking about maps that were drawn roughly between the 1300s and the 1700s.
The Piri Reis map, created by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis in 1513, was discovered in Istanbul's Topkapi Palace in 1929. This map accurately depicts coastlines, islands, and mountain ranges of the Americas with stunning precision, decades before official exploration of these regions.
Previous is only a bit of a map. That's all that survived from the map, and it shows a bit of South America and a bit of Africa.
Most incredibly, the map shows Antarctica without its ice covering, revealing the continent's actual landmass beneath the glacier. Modern satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar have confirmed the accuracy of these coastline details. The map predates the official discovery of Antarctica by over 300 years. Even more puzzling, Antarctica has been covered in ice for millions of years, yet somehow Piri Reis had access to geographical information that should have been impossible to obtain. Some researchers theorize the map was based on even older source materials, possibly from a lost civilization with advanced surveying capabilities. Others suggested proves ancient people had far more sophisticated geographical knowledge than previously believed. The map's accuracy remains unexplained by conventional historical understanding. Number 11. The Impossible Forest. What if an entire ecosystem could be frozen in time for over 1,000 years, only to emerge exactly as it was before disappearing? In Alaska's Mendenhall Glacier region, researchers discovered something that shouldn't exist: an ancient forest emerging from beneath the ice. These aren't scattered pieces of wood, but entire upright tree trunks, many still retaining their bark and roots, standing exactly as they were when alive. Professor Kathy Connor's research team from the University of Southeast Alaska believes the glacier's expansion over 1,000 years ago carried millions of tons of rocks and gravel, creating a protective sediment layer 4 to 5 feet deep. This layer acted as natural armor, preserving the trees in next perfect condition before glaciers moved in and froze everything in place. The rapid melting of the glacier has revealed an increasing number of these ancient trees, creating a scene both majestic and eerie, as if time itself is reversing. Many trees remain standing upright in their original growth positions, allowing scientists to study an intact ecosystem from over a millennium ago. This discovery suggests countless other ancient forests might be buried beneath ice worldwide, waiting to be uncovered as climate patterns continue changing. Number 10. The Headless Sea Monster. Deep in Earth's oceans, researchers discovered a creature so bizarre that its very existence challenges our understanding of marine life. The Enypniastes, commonly known as the headless chicken sea monster, was first recorded in recent deep-sea exploration missions. Despite its disturbing nickname, this creature is actually a species of deep-sea sea cucumber living at depths up to 3,300 feet. Growing up to 10 inches tall, these bright pink creatures are semi-translucent, meaning their internal organs, particularly the intestines, are visible through their skin. They feed by filtering through ocean floor sediment for nutrients and play a crucial role in the marine ecosystem as bottom-of-the-food chain organisms. The creature's appearance is so unusual that early researchers struggled to classify it. Its floating, undulating movement through ocean currents, combined with its pink coloration and lack of obvious head features, creates an otherworldly appearance. What makes this discovery particularly significant is that these creatures are found in waters across the globe, suggesting they represent a successful evolutionary adaptation to extreme deep-sea environments that we're only beginning to understand. Number 9. The Voynich Manuscript Mystery. Imagine discovering a book that contains advanced scientific knowledge, but written in a code so complex that even modern supercomputers cannot crack it. The Voynich manuscript, dating back to the early 15th century, contains 240 pages of illustrations and writings that have baffled researchers since its appearance in 1912. Despite attempts by the world's best codebreakers, no one has been able to decipher the language or symbols used throughout the document. Carbon dating has confirmed the manuscript is genuinely over 600 years old. The illustrations suggest detailed knowledge of botany, biology, astronomy, and mathematics that seems far advanced for its time period. Complex diagrams show understanding of concepts that weren't officially discovered until centuries later. The text appears to follow consistent linguistic patterns, suggesting it's a real language rather than meaningless symbols. Statistical analysis reveals the complexity and structure typical of natural languages, but it matches no known writing system from any culture. The manuscript's content suggests the author possessed scientific knowledge that was centuries ahead of their time. Whether this represents a lost civilization's advanced learning, an individual genius working in secret, or something even more mysterious remains one of history's greatest unsolved puzzles. Number 8. The Living Stone Age. Now picture this: scientists discovering bacteria that survive by eating air itself, completely revolutionizing our understanding of what life requires to exist. In Antarctica's extreme conditions, researchers from the University of New South Wales discovered bacteria that can survive solely on compounds found in the atmosphere. These resilient microbes thrive by feeding off hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide. Through genomic analysis of soil samples from Robinson's Ridge and Adams Flat, scientists identified two previously unknown bacterial groups. These bacteria can extract gases directly from the air to sustain life, even without traditional energy sources like sunlight or geothermal energy. Their ability to endure extreme temperatures, drought, darkness, ultraviolet radiation, and freeze-thaw cycles challenges conventional understanding of life's requirements. These organisms represent a completely different approach to survival that was previously thought impossible. This discovery suggests life could exist in environments previously considered completely sterile, including other planets with similar atmospheric conditions. The implications for astrobiology and our search for extraterrestrial life are staggering. Number 7. The Lycurgus Cup Technology. What if ancient Romans possessed nanotechnology that modern scientists still struggle to replicate? The Lycurgus Cup, dating back to the Roman Empire, is the only known object from that time period made with dichroic glass. This means the cup appears to change color depending on the angle of view and lighting, appearing dark red when lit from behind and green when lit from the front. Creating this effect requires manipulation of nanoparticles. The glass contains microscopic levels of gold and silver, and there's ongoing debate about whether Roman manufacturers achieved this intentionally or by accident. Even knowing the science behind it, modern attempts to replicate the cup have failed to match the original's quality. The precision required for this technology involves controlling particles at the molecular level, something that shouldn't have been possible with ancient tools and knowledge. Yet the cup exists as proof that somehow Romans achieved this feat. This single artifact suggests ancient civilizations possessed technological capabilities far beyond what historians previously believed possible, raising questions about what other advanced knowledge might have been lost to time. Number 6. The Giant Antarctic Pyramid. Finally, Imagine satellite imagery revealing a massive pyramid buried beneath Antarctic ice, suggesting impossible ancient civilizations thrived in Earth's most hostile environment.
If this gigantic pyramid in Antarctica is an artificial structure, it would probably be the oldest pyramid on our planet. And in fact, it might be the master pyramid that all the other pyramids on planet Earth were designed to look like.
In 2009, satellite imagery revealed what appeared to be a massive pyramid-like structure beneath Antarctica's ice. The formation closely resembled Egypt's iconic pyramids, with 4 distinct triangular sides and striking symmetry that seems too perfect to be natural. The structure's location is particularly intriguing since Antarctica is known for its harsh climate and uninhabited wilderness. The presence of such a formation challenges our understanding of the continent's history and suggesting the possibility of a lost civilization that thrived before Antarctica became the frozen wasteland we know today. Some believe it's evidence of an ancient civilization with advanced technology, while others suggest extraterrestrial origins. Skeptics argue it could result from natural processes or optical illusions in satellite imagery. The most unsettling possibility is that this represents evidence of human habitation in Antarctica during a time when the continent had a completely different climate, which would mean our understanding of both ancient civilizations and Earth's climate history is fundamentally wrong. Number 5. The Gaussian Blade Mystery. What if archaeologists discovered a 2,000-year-old sword that was sharper than modern surgical instruments and showed no signs of aging whatsoever? About 50 years ago, archaeologists discovered an unusual sword inside a Chinese tomb that shocked the scientific community. This blade was over 2,000 years old, but didn't have a single trace of rust, corrosion, or wear. The sword looked absolutely perfect when excavated and was so sharp it actually drew blood when an archaeologist accidentally pressed his finger against its edge. Somehow this ancient weapon had not been affected by 2,000 years sealed underground in conditions that should have completely destroyed any metal object. The craftsmanship was remarkable, beyond anything expected from that time period. The sword was covered in detailed markings and decorative elements that seemed too precise and advanced for something crafted so long ago. The Chinese government declared it a state treasure, and for the Chinese people, this sword is now as famous and mysterious as King Arthur's legendary Excalibur. Archaeologists originally found the weapon in 1965 while surveying ruins in the old capital of the Chu state, where they discovered 50 ancient tombs and over 2,000 artifacts. The biggest mystery is that despite decades of study, archaeologists still don't know which king owned the sword, and nobody has been able to replicate the technology used to create it or identify all of its specific metallurgic properties. The blade represents manufacturing techniques that seem impossible for ancient civilizations to have possessed. Number 4. The anti-gravity jars. Picture ancient pottery that defies the laws of physics, created 300 years ago with technology that modern engineers still cannot fully understand. About 300 years ago in India, craftsmen created anti-gravity jars that seemed to possess magical properties. These incredible vessels could be filled with water, flipped completely upside down, and not a single drop of water would leak out, defying everything people understood about gravity and fluid dynamics. 3 centuries ago, seeing these magic jars in action completely blew people's minds. They didn't realize what they were witnessing was advanced engineering disguised as magic. Visitors can see one of these remarkable jars at the Museum of Kanchipuram, where it continues to baffle modern observers. The jar was constructed from clay, but has no top opening to fill it up normally. The only way to fill the jar with water is to flip it completely over and pour water through 5 small holes at the bottom. When the jar is flipped back to its normal position, not a single drop of water leaks out from any of the holes, and the only way to retrieve the water is by pouring it through the spout at the top. There are no moving parts inside the jar whatsoever. Instead, an unknown genius figured out how to fit twin funnels and a 90-degree bend pipe inside the jar to create what appeared to be magic through pure engineering. The Potter village of Karigiri once produced over 100 varieties of these magic jars, though only 12 survive today, all housed in museums as priceless artifacts. Number 3. The Antikythera computer. What if ancient Greeks built the world's first computer over 2,000 years ago, with capabilities that wouldn't be matched again until the 20th century?
Now, when they found that ancient Greek computer thing, what is that called?
The Antikythera mechanism.
So, what does it do?
And it has been determined that that analog computer was used to predict astronomical events.
One of the most mysterious objects ever pulled from the ocean is the Antikythera mechanism, dubbed the world's first analog computer. Sponge divers found this incredible device near the Greek island of Antikythera in 1901, but its true significance wasn't understood for decades. The computer is about the size of a shoebox and appears to be a bizarre contraption made of intricate bronze gears and dials that look like the complex insides of a giant mechanical clock. Recent archaeological breakthroughs suggest scientists have finally figured out when this mechanism first started operating, December 22nd, 178 BC. This conclusion wasn't easy to reach. Scientists have been struggling for 120 years to figure out who made the device, why they created it, and what they used it for. The machine could predict when the next solar or lunar eclipse would occur, determine when athletic games were scheduled to take place, and calculate complex astronomical events with remarkable precision. Researchers determined the start date by identifying the earliest day that any calculation on the machine could be performed. There was a solar eclipse on December 22nd that lasted over 12 minutes, and December 23rd marked the winter solstice. The fact that a machine predicting eclipses was activated on the same day as a major eclipse seems far too significant to be coincidental, suggesting advanced astronomical knowledge we're still trying to understand. Number 2. The mysterious stone discs. Imagine finding perfectly circular stone discs buried in the Russian wilderness, containing materials that shouldn't exist in ordinary rocks. A team of researchers found over a dozen mysterious carved discs in Russia near Volgograd in 2015, immediately sparking international controversy. The research team claimed these strange discs contained high-density tungsten, a metal primarily found in modern military technology and advanced industrial applications. While the origin and nature of these stone discs remain completely mysterious, many researchers believe they could be chunks of debris from an ancient spacecraft or unknown technology. The team had initially discovered over 12 disc-shaped rocks, but they recently found a much larger specimen measuring about 6.5 feet in diameter. Researcher Vadim Chernobrov told Russian news agencies that finding tungsten in these discs was completely unprecedented. The metal shouldn't exist in ordinary rock formations, never mind in 12 random discs of stone buried in the remote Russian wilderness with no apparent connection to any known geological processes. UFO researchers were quick to connect the stones to extraterrestrial technology. But the stones are more likely the result of extremely rare erosion processes that can occur over millions of years. However, their chemical composition remains questionable, and the perfect circular shapes combined with the tungsten content creates a mystery that conventional geology struggles to explain satisfactorily. Number 1. The Atacama Skeleton. Finally, imagine discovering human remains so unusual that for 15 years, scientists couldn't determine if they belonged to a human, an unknown animal, or something else entirely. By far the strangest human discovery ever made was a small skeleton found in Chile's Atacama Desert in 2003. For 15 years, this 6-inch long specimen confounded anyone who examined it. At first, no one knew what it was. Was it human? some other unknown animal, or perhaps even evidence of extraterrestrial visitation. Unsurprisingly, the discovery led to numerous conspiracy theories about the skeleton's otherworldly origins, with many people convinced it represented proof of alien contact with Earth. The tiny humanoid appearance, combined with unusual proportions and the mysterious circumstances of its discovery, fueled decades of speculation.
The Atacama skeleton definitely looks like an alien. It's 6 inches long, it has a weird, long, bulbous head, and it has 10 ribs when humans are supposed to have 12 ribs. But scientists tell us that Atta is definitely a human. So why does it look like this?
It was only in 2018 that comprehensive DNA analysis was finally performed to determine the truth. The skeleton was indeed human, but belonged to someone who had 64 unusual genetic mutations involving the skeletal system, including several mutations associated with severe dwarfism and scoliosis. Unfortunately for the mother and child involved, researchers determined that the baby would have survived only a few days after birth due to the severe complications caused by these extreme genetic mutations. The child was quickly buried in the desert, where the extreme conditions preserved the remains for centuries. The most terrifying truth is that if these discoveries represent just the tip of the iceberg, then countless other impossible things might be hiding just beneath the surface of our everyday world. Every archaeological dig, every deep-sea exploration, every satellite image could potentially reveal something that completely revolutionizes everything we think we know about our planet, our history, and our place in the universe.